More stimulus and remdesivir isn't what we thought it was. This is the Silver Reports Weekly Review, where we take a look at the headlines that move the markets during the week and all things investment related. On Monday, oil rocked the markets and sent the Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ lower. The Dow closed down 592 points, the S&P closed down 51 points, and the NASDAQ closed down 89 points. The worldwide shelter-in-place movement has stifled the demand for oil, leaving oil companies with lots of supply and no place to put new oil. Oil future prices went negative on Monday for the first time since oil futures began trading on the NYMEX in 1983. There were rumors of the government paying oil companies to leave oil in the ground, but how real those rumors were and how long they would pay the companies to not drill are unknown. Another headline that moved the markets was Uber landing an $810 million government contract. Uber rose slightly on the news. In earnings news, IBM missed on revenue by $50 million, but beat EPS estimates by 4 cents. The company also pulled its financial guidance for 2020. Haliburton reported an EPS beat by 7 cents and revenue of $5 billion was in line with estimates, but down 12% year over year. Haliburton reported it would cut overhead and other costs by $1 billion and cut capital spending by $800 million. And Equifax reported an EPS beat by 12 cents and a revenue beat by $50 million. Revenue rose 13% year over year, and the company advised it had approximately $370 million in cash and $1.2 billion available in revolving credit. The company pulled its financial guidance as well for 2020. The stock rose almost 5% in after-hours trading. On Tuesday, the markets continued to slide. The Dow closed down 631 points, the S&P closed down 86 points, and the NASDAQ closed down 297 points. Tuesday's markets were still weighed down by the negative oil prices from Monday, but Tuesday evening after markets closed, the U.S. Senate approved another $484 billion of stimulus for small businesses as well as hospitals. Prior to the news of the stimulus package, all eyes were on Netflix and the company's earnings. Netflix reported an EPS miss by 7 cents, but a revenue beat by $20 million. Revenue grew 27% year over year, and global membership increased by 22% year over year to 182 million subs, which surpassed estimates of 174 million subs. You just can't beat Tiger King. Snap jumped 20% in after-hours trading after reporting a revenue beat by $42 million and a loss of 8 cents per share. The company reported that revenue grew 44% year over year, along with a 20% increase in daily user growth. Chipotle reported an EPS beat by 42 cents and a revenue beat by $10 million. Chipotle reported a comparable sales increase of 3.3% and an 80% increase in digital sales. Coca-Cola reported an EPS beat by 7 cents and a revenue beat by $280 million. Coca-Cola warned of a global decline in volume, with that decline coming in away from home sales. And Lockheed Martin reported an EPS beat by 28 cents and a revenue beat by $580 million. Lockheed advised that the impact of COVID-19 to the business for 2020 is uncertain and lowered its sales outlook for 2020. The stock was up slightly in after-hours trading. On Wednesday, the Senate approved new round of stimulus sparked a good day for the markets. The Dow closed up 456 points, the S&P closed up 62 points, and the NASDAQ closed up 232 points. Oil prices saw an increase after a tweet from President Trump, which stated that he instructed the United States Navy to shoot down and destroy any and all Iranian gunboats if they harass U.S. ships at sea. In earnings news, Delta Airlines reported an EPS beat by 31 cents, but a revenue miss by $740 million. Delta reported a pre-tax loss of $422 million. Overall revenue fell 12% in Q1 for Delta. AT&T reported an EPS miss by a penny and a revenue miss by $1.3 billion. AT&T states the COVID-19 pandemic is responsible for a $600 million hit to its Q1 results. CSX reported an EPS beat by 6 cents, but missed on revenue by $20 million. The company reported expenses were down 7%, but declines in coal hurt revenue during the quarter. And Biogen reported an EPS beat by $1.45 and a revenue beat by $120 million. On Thursday, markets closed mixed. The Dow closed up 39 points, the S&P closed down a point, and the NASDAQ closed down less than a point. A headline from the Financial Times helped pull down the markets. The Financial Times reported that Gilead Sciences' COVID-19 treatment remdesivir did not improve patients' condition or reduce the pathogen's presence in the bloodstream. On Thursday, we got the latest unemployment figures, and another 4.4 million Americans filed for unemployment benefits last week. Over 26 million people have filed for unemployment benefits over the last 5 weeks. In earnings news, Intel reported an EPS beat by 18 cents and a revenue beat by $1.1 billion. Revenue increased 23% year over year, but the stock price fell on news that Apple plans to use its own chips in its Mac products by 2021. And Domino's Pizza reported an EPS beat by 72 cents and a revenue beat by $3.4 million. Same-store sales rose by 1.6%, which represented slower growth than a year before. On Friday, the three major markets closed up. The Dow closed up 260 points, the S&P closed up 38 points, and the Nasdaq closed up 139 points. The markets were able to close up despite some less than favorable economic data. In the US, manufacturing durable good orders were down to a 6-year low. President Trump did sign off on this $486 billion relief package for small businesses. That news helped propel the markets during the day. AT&T CEO Randall Stephenson is leaving the company effective July 1st and will be replaced by COO John Stankey. WWE stock jumped 14% on Friday. The company furloughed an unspecified number of wrestlers and other employees, as well as suspended its $500 million buyback. Zoom stock fell more than 6% after Facebook announced its own free group video chat feature called Messenger Rooms. And in earnings news, Verizon reported an EPS beat by 4 cents, but a revenue miss by $770 million. Verizon blamed the pandemic for the revenue miss. American Express beat EPS estimates by 31 cents, but missed on revenue by $360 million. Amex increased its reserve for credit losses by $1.7 billion and stated it's aggressively reducing costs. Overall for the week, the Dow, the S&P 500, and the Nasdaq all closed down on the week. In crypto news, the four major cryptocurrencies were on a rise during the week. Bitcoin increased 6.5% on the week, closing our week out at $7,517. Ethereum increased by 10% during the week, closing our week out at $188.51. Litecoin closed the week out at $44.60, up 5% from last week, and Ripple closed up a penny from last week. Crude oil closed the week out at $16.94 per barrel, down 7% from last week. Now that we've seen negative prices for oil, it'll be interesting to see what happens when the June oil contracts approach expiration if a large portion of the world is still practicing social distancing. A big winner for the week was Beyond Meat, BYND, which was up 41% on the news that the company is looking to enter the Chinese market. A big loser for the week was crude oil. At one point on Monday, it hit negative $35 per barrel. Although after the contract month switch, the loss wasn't as big as other market losers for the week, but hitting that negative number makes us question everything we know as investors. Before Monday, we all thought the lowest your investment could go was to zero, but that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. Crude oil, our big loser of the week. That's a wrap for this week's market review. If you want to dig deeper into the headlines we covered, the links to the stories are in the description below, and a link to sign up to our weekend article in Focus is also in the description below. If you're ready to get serious about investing and creating wealth for yourself and your family, check out our latest quarterly newsletter, The Seville Report. Serious investment ideas presented in a way that experienced and novice investors can understand. If you're ready to master the markets, check out our newsletter at sevillereport.com. Thanks again for checking out this week's market review. This channel is dedicated to anyone who wants to start investing but doesn't know how or where to start. If you have any questions, ask in the comments section. Like and subscribe, and may your next investment be your best investment. See you next week.